In 1590, an English governor finally returned to America after a dangerous journey across the Atlantic Ocean. He was searching for over 100 settlers he had left behind 3 years earlier. Families, children, entire homes and supplies. But when he arrived at the colony, everyone was gone. No bodies. No signs of battle. No remains of a massacre. The settlement had been completely abandoned. And carved into a wooden post was a single mysterious word: CROATOAN. To this day, nobody knows what truly happened to the lost colony of Roanoke. Did the settlers starve? Were they attacked? Or did an entire colony simply disappear into the wilderness forever? But the strangest part of the mystery wasn't the abandoned colony itself. It was the disturbing clues discovered afterward, clues suggesting the settlers may not have vanished the way historians originally believed. The story began in the late 1500s when England attempted to establish one of its first permanent colonies in North America. The settlement was built on Roanoke Island, located along the coast of present-day North Carolina. Life in the New World was brutal. Food was limited. Disease spread easily. Supplies from England often arrived late, if they arrived at all. Yet despite the danger, more settlers continued arriving. Men, women, and children crossed the Atlantic hoping to build a new life in America. Among them was a young girl named Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the New World. But the colony quickly began struggling to survive. Tensions with local Native American tribes increased. Food shortages worsened. And soon the settlers became desperate for help from England. In 1587, the colony's governor, John White, made a difficult decision. He would sail back to England to gather desperately needed supplies before the settlement collapsed completely. White promised the colonists he would return quickly. But fate intervened. England soon became consumed by war with Spain, including preparations for the massive conflict against the Spanish Armada. Ships became difficult to secure. Months turned into years. And John White was unable to return to Roanoke for nearly 3 full years. Finally, in 1590, he crossed the Atlantic once again hoping to reunite with the settlers he had left behind. But when he finally arrived at the colony, the sight waiting for him would become one of history's greatest mysteries. On August 18, 1590, John White finally returned to Roanoke Island. But something felt wrong immediately. The settlement was silent. No smoke rose from cooking fires. No voices echoed through the colony. No signs of life appeared anywhere. White and his men cautiously entered the settlement expecting disaster. But what they discovered only deepened the mystery. The houses had been dismantled carefully, not destroyed violently. There were no bodies. No blood. No signs of battle. It looked as though the colonists had simply vanished. Then White noticed something carved into a wooden post, CROATOAN. Nearby, another set of letters had been carved into a tree, Crow. Before leaving years earlier, White had instructed the settlers to carve a secret message if they were forced to relocate. If danger threatened them, they were supposed to carve a cross beside the message. But no cross was found. Which suggested something disturbing. The settlers may have left willingly. But where had they gone? And why did they leave behind an entire colony without a trace? The word CROATOAN referred to a nearby island inhabited by a Native American tribe friendly to many of the settlers. Almost immediately, John White believed the colonists may have relocated there to survive. And honestly, It made sense. The colony had been struggling for food and protection long before White left for England. Joining a local tribe may have been their only chance to survive in the harsh wilderness. But before White could investigate further, violent storms forced his ships away from the coast. He never returned to Roanoke again. The settlers were never officially found. Over the centuries, some historians claimed the colonists were absorbed into nearby tribes and slowly disappeared into local populations. Others believed disease, starvation, or conflict may have destroyed the colony entirely. But despite centuries of investigation, no definitive evidence has ever solved the mystery completely. Which only made the lost colony of Roanoke even more terrifying. Because more than 100 people, including entire families and children, vanished from history without explanation. As the mystery spread through history, increasingly disturbing theories began emerging about what really happened to the settlers. Some believed the colony was attacked by hostile tribes after resources became scarce. Others suspected Spanish forces may have secretly destroyed the settlement while searching for English colonies in the New World. Then there were darker theories. Some legends claimed the settlers became trapped deep within the wilderness and slowly died from starvation and disease far from the colony itself. Others suggested the disappearance inspired supernatural rumors that still surround Roanoke Island today. Strange lights in the forests. Phantom voices. Stories of ghostly colonists wandering the coastline searching for help. Most historians reject paranormal explanations entirely. But the mystery continued surviving for centuries because of one terrifying fact: no confirmed evidence ever revealed exactly what happened. The settlers simply disappeared into history, leaving behind only a single carved word and one of America's oldest unsolved mysteries. Over the next several centuries, historians and archaeologists repeatedly searched for evidence explaining the disappearance of Roanoke. Excavations uncovered scattered artifacts, tools, weapons, pieces of pottery, and signs that English settlers may have traveled beyond the original colony. But no discovery ever fully solved the mystery. Then another strange detail emerged. Some early reports from nearby tribes described people with European features living among Native American communities years after the colony vanished. Certain accounts even mentioned gray eyes, English-style homes, and unfamiliar metal tools appearing in tribal settlements. Some historians believe these stories suggest the colonists successfully integrated with local tribes to survive. But there's a problem. No complete record survived. No final message was ever found. And no one knows whether all the settlers survived long enough to join another community at all. The deeper researchers investigated, the more fragmented the story became. Almost as if the colony had been slowly erased from history itself. As the mystery survived through generations, Roanoke slowly transformed into something larger than a historical disappearance. It became surrounded by legends. Locals began telling stories about ghostly figures wandering the forests near the old colony site. Some claimed to hear distant voices calling through the trees late at night. Others described strange lights appearing near the coastline before vanishing into the fog. Over time, rumors spread that Roanoke Island itself was cursed. Stories emerged describing phantom settlers dressed in faded colonial clothing appearing briefly before disappearing again into the wilderness. Historians generally dismiss these tales as folklore created over centuries of storytelling. But the eerie atmosphere surrounding the colony only strengthened the mystery's grip on popular imagination. Because unlike many historical disasters, Roanoke never provided closure. No confirmed battlefield. No graves. No final records. Just silence. And one carved word left behind in an abandoned settlement. Today, the Lost Colony of Roanoke remains one of America's oldest unsolved mysteries. Most historians believe the settlers likely attempted to survive by relocating and integrating with nearby tribes after supplies collapsed. But because definitive evidence was never discovered, uncertainty still surrounds the case more than 400 years later. And perhaps that uncertainty is what makes the story so disturbing. More than 100 people vanished into an unfamiliar wilderness, and history never learned exactly how their story ended. No final goodbye. No recorded fate. No explanation. Just the haunting possibility that an entire colony slowly disappeared beyond the edges of the known world, becoming lost forever somewhere deep within the American wilderness. Whether the settlers of Roanoke were absorbed into nearby tribes, destroyed by disease, or lost somewhere in the wilderness forever, the mystery continues haunting history for one terrifying reason: nobody truly knows how their story ended. Entire families crossed the Atlantic Ocean searching for a new life in an unfamiliar world. Then within only a few years, they vanished completely. No confirmed graves. No official records. No final message explaining what happened. Just an abandoned colony slowly reclaimed by forest and time. And perhaps that's what makes Roanoke so disturbing even centuries later. Because unlike many historical mysteries, this one feels unfinished. Somewhere beyond the coastline, deep forests, and forgotten settlements of early America, the true fate of the lost colony may still remain hidden forever. The Lost Colony of Roanoke remains one of history's greatest unsolved disappearances. A mystery blending survival, fear, isolation, and the terrifying unknown wilderness of early America. Some believe the settlers peacefully joined nearby tribes. Others think something far darker happened after the colony was abandoned. But what do you think? Did the settlers survive? Or did the Roanoke colony disappear forever into history without a trace? Let me know your theory in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more historical mysteries, unexplained disappearances, dark documentaries, and lost stories hidden deep within human history. Because sometimes, history leaves behind questions that may never be answered.